How's it going, guys? Aaron from PhoneTalk.com here, and I haven't had a chance to stop for lunch yet. I'm really hungry, but thanks to Motorola, I get to nom on something extra special, and that's the Gingerbread update for the Motorola Atrix. That was really bad. The Motorola Atrix Android 2.3 update is finally here. Gingerbread is in the house, and there are a host of changes on the Motorola Atrix 4G as a result. New Motorola applications platform, obviously a new software platform, and much more. Let's check it out. I got an email, by the way. Let's check it out in the full review, which starts right now. So Android 2.3 finally here on the Gingerbread. Something new for you Atrix users to nom on. It replaces Froyo. I'm just trying to see how annoying I can say nom on. It replaces Froyo, and it brings in a new build of Motorola's applications platform as well. Motorola Blur completely gone, or Moto Blur, depending on which one to call it, is gone. It's been replaced by this. And yes, it's not a stock build of Android, but it's still an overlay, but it's a much better looking overlay. And this is one of those things, this device is a powerful device. 1 GHz dual core processor, NVIDIA Tegra 2 processor, and it's a powerful, well-equipped device. But with Android 2.2 and the old build of Motorola Blur, it was terrible in terms of speed, very laggy oftentimes, and little things like when you turn it off and you turn it back on, it would take forever to either unlock and go into the main home screen, or sometimes it just wouldn't register your touch at all. Much better there. So it's running Android 2.3, a new build of Blur, and the first thing you'll notice if you've watched the videos with, let's say, the DROID X2 or the DROID 3, there are a lot of similarities here, but assuming you're coming into this for the first time, the first thing you'll notice is it's very blue. The notifications bar here is blue, and one thing I like about the notifications bar, and I wish I had some notifications up there to show you, it's very intuitive, and the fact that when you have an email, you have a text message, you have a phone call, and they're all up there in the notifications bar, you can delete each one individually as opposed to having to clear out all or nothing. So let's say you know that your mom called you. Well, you can get rid of that notification by clicking a little red X or red minus sign that appears right here, and you can keep the messages in the notifications area so you remember those for later. Very helpful, and I'm surprised that none of the other Android manufacturers have picked up on that, HTC or Samsung with their respective user interfaces. So that's definitely a big perk there. But you'll notice this blue kind of theme throughout the entire device. And just all in all, it seems very fast to me, much faster than what it was before. And you'll notice this little white kind of thing here at the bottom, this white kind of halo, if you will. And you'll notice that some of the icons have changed. The messaging icon obviously looks different, and the dock itself is a difference from the original build of Motorola Blur that this device came with. So you can see the browser icon different as well, and you can just see how quickly it loads up. It's just a much faster, better built build. So you can see all apps here, and then of course a quick link to access the Android market if you wanted to. We'll go back in here and you can organize, and they're all organized. You can sort them out by all apps, recent downloaded or AT&T specific apps, and you can see, so it's quick, it's easy, and you'll notice how fast it is as well. You can use it in portrait or in landscape if you want to, and the transitions are something else in Android 2.3, and it's not an Android thing, it's a Motorola applications platform thing. You'll see that there's a nice little transition effect there. Instead of it just being a blocky transition between portrait and landscape, it's a very clean, good-looking transition. But you can see the browser icon rather is different. The camera and camcorder icons are different, and it puts it in line with the DROID X2 and the DROID 3. So we can scroll down through here and see messaging, a little bit of a difference there. But everything else, is the typical stuff: web top connector, need for speed, shift. Let's see what else comes on this. Media share, phone portal, all the typical Motorola stuff. And you'll see that it still shows a blur icon there, even though it's not really running, according to Motorola, a build of Moto Blur anymore. They're really getting rid of that name because there's been poor feedback, and they wanted to eliminate the Blur name out of people's vocabulary. So it's still obviously a Motorola UI, but it's not called Motorola Blur anymore. So you can see here, another thing, it's organized. Motorola and Android widgets are separated with some new icons here, and then you can go to Motorola widgets and see those as well. So not a lot of changes here. I mean, this was in the previous build, but you'll just see things like the blue, and I'll go over here where you can see it, the blue and choose widget, just a different color scheme on Gingerbread, but it really makes this device much faster. I mean, I can't underscore how fast this device is with Android 2.3 and with this new build. It just makes it's almost like getting a new device. I've never seen such a substantial upgrade from a software upgrade, so that's pretty impressive. So here's text messaging. You can see again blue up there, and then I can go to plus, and I can go down here and enter my message, and you can see Motorola's multi-touch keyboard pre-installed along with swipe out of the box, and it's very responsive, no lag there. And like I said, a common complaint, the original one was the lock screen would lag, or it wouldn't register the gesture as you tried to swipe across. Well, it doesn't do that anymore. It's completely gone. Of Quite a few of the changes to Gingerbread are kind of subtle and little things like the icons like I showed you a little earlier in the video. And then also, and I'm going to wait for it to pop up here so you can see the new email. Little things like the new email message here. You can see it's different. Now obviously AT&T stays over here in the corner on the AT&T Android devices, or most of the AT&T Android devices, but you can see that Gmail icon is slightly different. That's as a result of Android 2.3. Now this is what I was talking about earlier, where it says, I sent myself a test email, so you could see a little red dot with the minus sign through it, so you can delete. So let's say you have a missed phone call, things like that. Well, I can delete this individual notification and leave the other ones up there. So it's pretty intuitive, and I'm impressed with that. Otherwise, not a huge or no huge changes here, other than the like I showed you earlier, the blue kind of color scheme that goes on. Another thing I like is the ability to, go in here to AT&T, for example, and say I want to get rid of Live TV. I can press and hold it, and I can uninstall. So of course you can add to home on Motorola's applications platform. You can share, add to a group, and I can migrate that over, let's say, the AT&T group, which it should be in anyway. So I don't really know why it's not in there. Maybe it was in there in the first place, but you can see my AT&T, for example. I can add it to home, which is not what I intended to do. I intended to uninstall. So you can see here, uninstall it if I want to, and it takes me directly to that. That's pretty cool. And then, like I said earlier with the transitions, we'll go into PhoneDog, for example. You can see the transitions in the browser, where it's not just the typical Android, bam, 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 no transitions. Transitions fool the eye and make it seem like, even though it's, a couple seconds in terms of going from portrait to landscape, fools the eye and makes it seem like less time. So that's a nice touch that comes with Motorola's applications platform as well. Let's go in, before we sign off, let's go down here. I was going to show you a quick quadrant standard test so you can get an idea of what we're working with. You see the H+ sign, obviously the signal strength indicator has changed slightly as well, but just like a whole new phone here, it really shows off the dual core processor capabilities. It shows off how fast this device could be, and it should have been what it launched with in March. It really should have launched with Gingerbread with this build of Motorola's applications platform. So it's really impressive. I've been impressed with it. It really is a contender now to all the other Motorola devices, the DROID 3, the PHOTON 4G, and some of the others on the market, the DROID X2, etc. Now that it has its latest build. So we can see here, it's probably going to be finicky. I don't know, Quadrant Standard doesn't seem to like Gingerbread that much, but we'll see here. It's running through pretty quickly, just so you can get an idea of what this device is like with the latest software build. Run through, it's running into the room. And everything else has been excellent. Call quality continues to be good. Audio quality continues to be good. Those things were unchanged from Android 2.2, but still pretty impressive nonetheless. Let's go in here and let's get this thing going. Just testing a little DNA strand. And then here's our benchmark results. And you can see little things like that icon is different as well. But here we go, 2,379. So 2,379 on Quadrant Standard. Very impressive. And then another thing I want to show you before we sign off is the gallery. The gallery has been changed. You can see here it's a specific, and also same thing with, let's see if I can find it. No, I'm sorry, it's not in this build of Motorola, this build of Motorola's applications platform. But you can see here, camera apps the gallery apps a little bit different here, and once more pictures populate, they'll show up over here, and I can go to my library, and you can see how the timeline's a little bit different, and I can organize by locations, tags, etc. So I can scroll through, and you can see down here the bar is a little bit different. And you can see I took some test pictures of that beautiful face. And then down here you have the option to share, you have the option to upload, you have the option to comment once it gets added to social networks. So that's pretty nifty as well. So some new options there, and kind of a new look to that. And then of course once we go into weather, you can see that's different as well with a new interface. Again, very blue, but just minor changes to the wallpaper, the background, and some of the buttons. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com on the Motorola Atrix 4G, especially now that it can compete. I'm getting ready to do the dogfight between the Motorola Photon 4G and this bad boy, so be sure to check that out. Like us on Facebook as well, Facebook.com/PhoneDog, because we're giving away a bunch of tablets as part of our greatest tech giveaway ever. And be sure to follow me on Twitter as well, PhoneDog_Aaron, and on Facebook at Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Dogfight time, I'm out. Catch you later.